everyone, it's Tammy from Frou-frou Studio, and I'm back to do another episode of No Digitals Allowed. And thanks for joining me today. I appreciate each and every one of you, and to all my new subscribers, welcome. I hope you're enjoying my channel. And I just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you so much. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. Okay, so for those of you that are new, the purpose of these videos on Wednesday is to use items that you have around your house or that you've gotten from different places, and to not use digital kits or anything digital in your ephemera makes. And so today what I am working with is magazines. So I have gone through my magazines that I tend to read, which are flea market magazines, of course. There's flea market style, flea market decor, flea market outdoors, and I also read this vintage style because these are all things that I love. I do occasionally also pick up a I think it's called Cottage Living, and occasionally I do one that's called something, what is it? French Country. Okay, so those are my favorite magazines. My favorite by far are any of the flea market ones because I love to flea market, as most of you know. So I've gone through, because I am going to be, my next journal is going to be using a kit by Sweet Pea Curiosities that she just came out with. It's called the Flea Market, and it is a tall skinny journal. And if you haven't seen that kit, she has a post on Instagram, and then of course you can always go to her Etsy shop and see it. It's a really cool kit that's got a lot of pictures from vintage flea markets and just things you would find at a flea market. It's a really cool kit, and I'm excited about getting it printed out and getting the journal started. So I have been going through my magazines today and cutting out things for that, and I thought, okay, this will be perfect for for the no digitals. And so I'll show you some of the images that I cut out, and then we're going to make a journal card. I just went through and cut out different images that I thought would be cool for tags or journal cards, or you know, corner tucks, and just things that are interesting. For example, this one was a drawer full of souvenir spoons, which I love. And then these beautiful flowers. And then I fussy cut some images. I have a couple more here that are going to be tags or tucks. I thought that one was real interesting and looked very flea markety. And this one has everything that I love in it. This is kind of my style of decorating. This photo is. You know, I love my alarm clocks. This was a plate that was hanging on the wall, and I just cut it out. This was a sign for gas, an old vintage sign for gas. This is some antique sheet music. I've got this partial tray, so when you're looking for things, don't think you have to have a whole piece of something, because you could very easily stick this behind something else. Sorry, I've got the hiccups. Behind something else, and you know, make it still usable in a collage. And then I found this neat hand that's got, it's talking about plant bulbs and things like that. I thought that was really cool. So I cut that out. And then for what we're going to use today, I cut out a couple of background pieces. And you can see, you know, this wasn't a whole cabinet, but this is really interesting. All this chippy paint and stuff. So I cut this out. This was a door that had a woman standing in it, and I just wanted this chippy blue paint. So I just cut that out. And don't worry about other things being in it either, because if you're going to collage, you're going to, you know, focus on covering that part up. And then I found this number 3 that I thought was really cool. I found this statue. It's all chippy and wonderful. And I found this scale that you can see. It had like a little word blurb right here talking about the scale. And so I just cut out the part, you know, without the word. We're going to use that. And then there's a couple old tins here. A Cracker Jack tin and I think this is some kind of bouillon cubes or something like that. I'm not sure. But we're going to use that. And then this was a big ottoman. And I just liked the pattern that was on the fabric on the ottoman. It's nice and grungy looking. So we might use that. And what else do I have? Oh, I have this that says flea market. We might use that. And then I have some die cut flowers that are $49 in market, and we might use those as well. For my base, I am using a index card, and this one happens to be vintage. My husband bought me a metal file cabinet with drawers, which I'm using to store. It's a flat file, and it has these little drawers that are, you know, probably, I don't know, about 1.5 inches. They're about that wide. And it had a flat file in it, and all these payroll cards were in there, and you flip them up based on the alphabet. And they had these cards so they could keep track of their payroll. And it was just full of them. So I have a ton of these cards and to use as bases. So that's going to be my base for the journal card. Okay. So, yeah, go through your magazines and, you know, cut out things that you think are interesting or that you're interested in. And those will make excellent backgrounds and focal points for your journals. So I think I'm going to start with this one. And then I think I'm going to put this blue up here on the top because I want a little bit of blue. Just like that. Do I want it that way or do I want it? I think I want it this way because it's more blue. This way. Alright, so that's where we're going to start, is gluing those two things down. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. They are here today replacing one of the ducts to our heating and air because if you all remember, a month or so ago, we were talking about the varmint that we assumed was a skunk that had gotten underneath our house, and we had to call the varmint police in to try to catch him. Well, apparently our little varmint tore up our ductwork to our heating and air, tore a big hole in it, and so they are here today to replace it. So if you hear banging around, that's what you're hearing. I think they're far enough away that you won't hear it, but just in case it sounds like they're tearing the house down, then that's what you're hearing. But my studio is above the garage on the second floor, and they're actually all the way down in the basement and in the crawl space, so I don't think we're gonna hear them, but just in case, I'll give you a heads up. Alright, so that has my card covered. So we're going to trim around that. Get us some nice straight edges. In the back of this, I'm going to leave as it is. I try to leave something as it is so you can tell what it was originally. And that gives us a nice textured back. Now let's decide where we're going to put these. I'm going to ink around it. Be careful when you're inking with magazine pages because they are slicker. They have, obviously, you know, a smoother surface. They're not as porous as what regular copy paper or cardstock or something like that's going to be. So it's really easy to over ink, and also it takes a little bit longer to dry. So the only thing I'm interested in is just getting some color on the edges, so that the white, you know, if I'm miscut or whatever, the white is covered, or the off-white, or buff. I think this is technically called buff. So I'm going to go just around the outer edges a little bit. Okay, so now we have our base. Now, obviously she is my focal point, and you can see when I put her on here, that's going to cover this kind of weird spool of thread that's just kind of hanging there. Now you could leave that and make that a part of what you're doing, and I could do it like that, but because of the other pieces that I have, I'm going to choose to cover it up like that. And then I think the scale, because it has a chunk out of it right here, I'm going to place, you know, somewhere where that chunk is not going to show, and I think I want it right there because I want these to be front and center. Alright, so I'm going to put some glue on this and put it where I want it. And you can choose any style for this. If you're not into this flea market kind of grungy style, but you're into gardening and you have gardening magazines, same rules apply. You know, go through and cut things out of the gardening magazines you like. Go through, maybe you like, you know, fashion magazines. And you want to use some of the women and styles that are in fashion magazines. All of that is acceptable and, you know, would look great in this kind of application. Oops. Yeah, I'm really excited. I've gone around my house and taken pictures of things that I have actually gotten at flea markets. And I'm going to print those out and use them in this journal. So I think it's going to be a pretty cool journal. Now, I went ahead and put that on her because I knew it was going to fit on her completely. And now I want to put this number 3. I believe I want to put it like right there. So we'll put that piece down next. The bottom could be a little straighter. Which would have been a good decision to make before I put the glue on there. Put it all the way up at the top. Okay. So before I glue her down, I want to decide, I think I want blue flowers because I think I want another blue element to tie in here. I just need to decide which ones. And I think I want those, but I don't want that many. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to cut this. So I'm cutting 2 of these off. Now everything's sticking to my scissors. I can't imagine why. Okay. And then, of course, I'll save the two that I cut off for something else. Okay, and I'm going to cut all these stems off. Okay, so I need to glue her down, and then we'll glue the flowers on. Also, when you're putting glue stick on the back of your pages, be really careful because it's a whole lot easier to rip something that is cut out of a magazine when you're using glue stick. And then I'm going to ink around these flowers once I decide how I want them here. I don't want them that way because it covers too much of the scale. Maybe I don't want that many. Maybe I don't need that many. I may just need those two. Maybe we'll just use the two. I like that idea better. So let me see if I can cut this so it doesn't look so funky. Yeah, I think that's good because I think that allows enough of the blue. The only other option I had was these big blue ones, and I just feel like they're too big. Yeah, that's too big. I think that's enough right there. So I'm going to ink them a little bit. And I'm going to use art glitter glue for that so I can get those little bitty stems. Make them kind of look like they're laying right there in front of everything else. And then I think what I'll do to give it a more finished look is round the corners. And I think I may make my tab out of this, but I may have to, because I like the idea of there being another red piece up there at the top. Yep, I like that being up there. All right, so let's fold this in half. So we can make a tab. And I'm just going to use my tab punch. And don't you get hung on there. That didn't work very well. This paper's so thin. And I'm actually going to put it over to one side over here, I think. I'm debating whether I want a piece of lace or something under that. Do I want it over this side? Yeah, I think I like it on that side. I could even put it over here if I wanted. I just have to make it for a side tuck instead of a top. But I do like the idea of the red being over on that side. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I think what I'm also going to I'm gonna glue it on this book page and punch it again because it's really thin and I should have done that to begin with and I didn't. Or cut it out or do something to it. Do a little something. Sorry, I'm being quiet. I'm concentrating. Sometimes that requires a lot of effort. Okay, ink around it just to get rid of any places where I didn't get close enough cutting it out. Now I'm gonna put it on there. There we go. Oh, I probably put that up too high. Luckily, I used glue stick. There. Okay, now let me see if I can get in here and chomp the corners. Hopefully it's not still too wet. Oops. Let me take this off again and chomp the corner first. I keep sticking my arm on my glue book and it's sticking to me. There we go. All right, so there is a decoupaged journal card from magazine pictures, other than the flowers we put on there. And I think that's really cute. I think that makes a really cute journal card. And then on the back we have the index card, which I will leave just like this. You can write on that without any difficulty. And that way you can still see that it was a vintage piece. So the next thing I would concentrate on for this particular piece is to find something that I could use for a side tuck in a journal. And again, you could, you know, go through a magazine. Not that this piece is going to go with it, but you know, you could use something like that as a side tuck and then have this on the inside. But in this case, because of the background pieces that I used, I would probably look for something more architectural and chippy to use. This also would make a great journal card, I think. As a matter of fact, let's do this one. I don't have any embellishments to put on it, but we will. Do I want to use, maybe I'll use one of these dividers since it's got the blue in there. In the fan, and leave a border around it. That'd be kind of cool. Same source. This is just one of the alphabet dividers that was in there. It's really grungy right there, so I'm going to take an eraser, a white eraser, and see if I can get a little bit of that off. I like to add my own grunge. Where's my... There it is. Always use white erasers for this, guys. Don't try to use an orange one because you'll mess things up. But a lot of times you can use a white one and some of the grunge will come off. I don't care if some of it stays. But I want it to look kind of evenly grunged. Okay, so let's start by figuring out. I definitely want... This one had like a picture inserted in the photo, so I definitely want to try to cut as much of that off as I can without cutting too much of the picture off. So I'm going to get my paper trimmer and, and go, I'm going to use that line as the line I want to cut on. And get rid of that a little bit more. And then this one, I think what I'm going to do is leave a little bit of blue all the way around it so it picks up on the blue from this fan. And so I want to cut about right there. I can see that. Lift it up a little bit and let the light shine on it so I can see the line. Alright, so that should be in about the right place. Alright, so let's put some glue on the back of this. Oops. Try to get a somewhat even border around there. Okay, and then that blue is perfectly fine to right on the back. So now you could either leave it just like this, which I love it just like this, and then you could create a side pocket again with something like that, or you could, you know, use your scrapbook paper or whatever you wanted to. But let's see if we can see. I like that color. with that. Create a focal point. With some of the other pieces that you've cut out. Somewhere I had a cute little puppy dog. There he is. This is a door stopper, cast iron door stopper, which I collect. And this one just happened to be in one of the magazines, so I cut it out. Could do something like that. And somewhere I have a vintage roll of film. Since there's a camera right there, sorry, I'm opening drawers. Let me look behind me here for a sec. Okay, I got this when I was in Germany at a flea market, and you can get them, I see them quite often, and you can get them pretty inexpensively most of the time because the people don't have the projectors that go with them. And so since they don't have the projector, I'm gonna throw that part away because it's the beginning. You know, they sell these pretty cheap, but I'm wondering, could I make like a bow? Some out of that. Might be too bulky. Maybe if I did it like really flat. I'm just going back and forth, and when I get to the next loop, making it a little longer. We're flying by the seat of the pants now, guys. Alright, my sister's got my tiny attacher still. She is back with it, but she hasn't made it over here. She's had to work every day since she's gotten back. Alright, so I'm using my big vintage stapler, and I don't know if that's gonna work. Nope. I don't think I got enough force behind it when I did that. Let's try again. Nope. Well, poo. I thought that might look cute on there. Maybe. Let's see if I can get the crocodile. Well, no, that'd be too big of a hole. No, maybe not. Let's try. The small hole. That went right through there. Now let's put a little bitty bride in there. I have no idea what I'm doing. Aren't you glad you're along for the fun? I think that was a whole lot of blue for nothing, because now it doesn't look like a bow. So what was the point? That's better, huh? And then we could put a piece of the straight. I don't like that. This doesn't make any sense. My dog looks pretty cute sitting there. don't know, guys. I don't know about that. Maybe we'll just do... See, I feel like I need something to go right across here. Just, I'm not thrilled with that rug. It's what it is. That's not the right color. We may have to postpone due to lack of creativity here. See, I feel like this tape is so thin that you've got to do something other than just a strip of it because it's too thin. Narrow. Too narrow. Maybe we take, the wind's picking up. I think it's gonna storm. Okay, okay, okay. We're getting somewhere. All right, so if I cut this off. Okay, let me ink around this. I'm gonna glue it down in that corner. Alright, and then we're going to take our clock here and make it look much older, even though this is supposed to be a vintage clock. It needs to be grungier, in my opinion. It kills me to watch these shows where they go picking or whatever, and then they take it to somebody to refurbish it. It's like, no, that's not the point. And I just tore the tore that clock. You want to leave the grungy and the crazing and the rust and the... It worked hard. It worked hard to get all that stuff, right? And take it off. I'm gonna try to stick this little part back on here where I ripped it off. Stuck to my finger. Although it's probably going to be covered up with the... Or did I have the flowers up here? I did, didn't I? You peel that up for a second. Okay, let's ink these. Make them look a little grungier. And got my little Boston Terrier here. I have one of these Boston Terriers, but almost all the paint is gone off of it. And so it's all chippy and wonderful. I'm going to use art glitter glue just so I don't tear any of this important bodily parts off here. Just need to get him set very quickly before it dries. Now, if you wanted to, and you don't like the shine from the magazine, my suggestion would be, after you got everything glued down and it's glued, is to take some matte gel medium or clear gesso, either one, and paint over your whole piece, because that will take all the shininess out. And it will also seal your collage so that, you know, you have a protective coat over top of it. And I will probably do that for both of these once the glue has completely dried. Alright, does this piece need anything else? I've got the flea market wording that I could put up here. Nope, I don't think I'm going to. I would like to have a number or something right there. Maybe I'll go back through the magazine and see if I can find another number, because I don't want to cut this one apart. I like the way that it is. So, and I still would like to use this, but I can't figure out exactly what I want to do with it. But I like the idea of using this because the camera's on there. Maybe if it's all pretty dark, I was trying to see if maybe some of it was lighter. Maybe I'll just go do a strip across the bottom, kind of like that. Oh, look, right there's where it says Tom and Jerry. Oh, I want to use that part. It says Tom, I know you can't see it, but it says Tom, Jerry, and then it looks like doesn't look German. It looks like it may be French. Alright, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna use double-sided tape, I think. I'm probably gonna lose part of it, because I think it's just a little too long. Alright, that's gonna be totally unwound on me before it's over with. I'm gonna put it right here at the bottom. Yeah, it's definitely thundering. But we're about done, so you won't have to hear it come crashing over my house. Oops, I didn't even glue that corner. That's good because I need to trim this off anyway. Wonder if I should do the same thing at the top. I said I was gonna quit, didn't I? Gives it a nice finished look, doesn't it? I definitely like the parts that are lighter because you can see the background through them. Yep. Last thing, I promise. I know I've been up here gabbing for way too long. Okay. A little piece of black. And I have a ton of this, that's why I'm not worried about cutting some pieces off that I don't want to use. I mean, I probably won't use all that in my lifetime. Okay, trim that. Okay, so now I'm going to ink all the way around the card, and then the only other thing I would decide, this has I think that's a 1 on it, so I'll decide whether I want to stamp something else on there or just leave that 1 on there. So there we go. There's another journal card for a side tuck, and this one will be on the opposite side of the page as that one, so that's good. And I think that turned out cute as well. So there we go. I will quit gabbing now. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope you have some magazines that you can go through and pick some photos out of and use those to work in your journal. It's a nice way to repurpose something that you already have on hand that you may not use otherwise. I know a lot of people don't like to cut up their magazines because they reread them and whatever, and I do that as well, but the ones that I chose to pick up from today are like 10 years old, literally. I mean, they're from like 2012 to 2014. So, you know, I've looked at them a million times and probably have most of the stuff in it memorized. So I didn't care to go through it and choose some things out of it to use in my upcoming journal. So let me know what you think, and I will see you guys back tomorrow for I Saw It on Pinterest. Until then, everybody have a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.